So it was reported that Donald Trump mistakenly called his wife Melania by the name Mercedes. And it turns out that that was not true. Donald Trump was referring to Mercedes Schlapp or Schlapp or however the hell you say her name. She was the former White House communications director who was sitting down front. And when he said, Mercedes, that's great, he was looking at her when he said that. So he wasn't actually referring to Melania. Now, the left did have a good laugh. We all had a good laugh about it, because it was totally believable that Donald Trump could make a gaffe like that, because he's the same guy that thought Nikki Haley was responsible for January 6th. He's the same guy that keeps getting confused thinking he's running against Obama. He's the same guy who thought there was airports during the Revolutionary War. So it was absolutely plausible that he would mistake his own wife when he can't even remember who he was married to when or when he divorced him or any of those things. It was totally believable. But the difference between people on the left and people on the right is when we are confronted with evidence that, hey, you know what? He was actually talking to this lady named Mercedes. We say, oh, okay, cool. We got that one wrong. I can say, yeah, I had a good laugh at that, but hey, we were wrong. He wasn't talking about Melania. He was talking to Mercedes Schlapp or Slap or whatever the hell. I can say that. But can the right wing say the same when they have a former informant who they say has all the facts against Hunter Biden? This guy's got all the truth. They build their whole case around this dude. And then when it comes out that that dude is lying through his teeth, made the whole thing up, and the story was fed to him from Russian intelligence, the right wing will say, well, that doesn't change anything. That doesn't change the facts at all. And no matter how many times it has been proven that the 2020 election had no fraud and was not rigged, they still continue to push that lie. They still continue to push that narrative every day. So, yeah, we may have got one wrong, and we may get another one wrong, and there may be other cases you can point to where we got one wrong, but the difference is we will admit it, and we will work to do better. And when faced with facts and evidence, MAGA refuses to accept it as facts and evidence because they believe that the entire world is rigged against them. But the way Donald Trump does this, the way that he manipulates this fake news narrative is, we all will admit that there absolutely is fake news out there. He's right when he says there's fake news in this world. There is. And a whole lot of it comes from the right wing, and a whole lot of it comes out of his mouth, but he will never admit to any of that. But the way he manipulates this is he grabs a hold of that tiny shred of truth, and then when something like this happens, he throws gasoline on it to say, see, look how bad the left is. Look how often they get it wrong. And my argument is that the mainstream media does not focus enough. They will focus on this story forever, but they won't focus enough on the fact that he says he wants to be a dictator on day one, and he would like to terminate the Constitution whenever he sees fit. They don't focus on those things. They don't focus on the white supremacists and the white nationalists that he has at his events speaking before him and the crazy batshit things that they're saying. And that's my whole argument with this. People on the right will take this story and they'll make that the focus. And they'll say, look where they got it wrong. Okay, we saw him call his wife by the wrong name, or so we thought, because it was plausible. You guys had absolutely no evidence for the 2020 election being stolen, and you still believe it. You guys had an informant that lied to you and made up a bullshit story he was fed to by Russia, and you still believe it. That's the difference in the two sides. Now, I saw a clip where I was watching where Joe Rogan was interviewing Kid Rock. There was another spot in there where Joe was like, yeah, man, the media gets it wrong, yeah. I mean, Donald Trump has exposed the media and how wrong they got it. Did you see where on January 6th he was telling the people to walk down there peacefully, but all they show is where he said, fight like hell. That's the only line they show. And Kid Rock's like, yeah, man, it's all fake news. Now, let me break this down for Joe Rogan and Kid Rock. The election wasn't stolen. Donald Trump's own people told him the election was not stolen. He continued to push a lie until he got a group of people so worked up that they turned January 6th into a live event. And they all showed up and said, they made Facebook posts, they made Twitter posts, they made YouTube videos. They did it all saying, we're going to go up there and we're going to take our country back by any means necessary. They took a rope to hang the vice president. These people were chanting, hang Mike Pence. Now, if he stood up at one point and said, you guys peacefully walk down there, and then later said, you're going to have to fight like hell, because if you don't fight like hell, you're never going to have a country again. Let me give you a scenario, and I would love for someone to put this right in Joe Rogan's face, okay? Let's say that I made up a story, Joe, let's say that I made up this story and I told Brock Lesnar that you fucked his wife. I had no evidence for it. But I said, Brock, Joe fucked your wife. And you're like, wait a minute, hold on. I've never done that. I've never been around her. I've never met her, whatever the case may be. And I go digging through the phone records, and I can't find no phone records between the two of you. I can't find no proof that you two were ever in the same spot ever. But I just keep feeding Brock that lie. And I keep saying, Brock, man, I'm telling you, he fucked your wife. Now, I've got the evidence. It's coming. They just won't let me show it to you, Brock. They won't let me show it to you. And I just keep getting him worked up, riled up, and pissed off until he shows up on your doorstep. And when he does, I turn to him and I go, now, Brock, you really need to talk this over peacefully with Joe, okay? You talk this over peacefully. But, buddy, if you don't fight like hell, he's liable to fuck her again. What do you think he's going to do? What do you think he's going to do? He was talking to a group of pissed off people. It doesn't matter if they sung Kumbaya beforehand, okay? Charlie Manson sang with his girls before they slaughtered Sharon Tate, okay? So you could say, hey, they were just riding up Cielo Drive singing, always is always forever. They were just happy that day. They were just picking flowers. They slaughtered an innocent pregnant woman. They descended on our capital to try to overthrow democracy, and they are intending to do it again. And you're sitting there getting all bent out of shape and going, we got you, man. You guys said that he called his wife for the wrong name and it's fake news. Well, the real news is that democracy is on the line come November. The real news is we've got a guy standing up, giving a voice to hatred, giving a voice to cruelty. He has the Supreme Court stacked. He's bragging about all the rights he took away from women, bragging about what he will do going forward. He's trying his damnedest to tell you exactly what he intends to do. So when you wake up and you no longer have democracy and you look around and go, shit, well, there was people like me sitting here in a chair trying to tell you that was coming. You were standing in the middle of a train track and I was trying to say, hey, look, there's a train headed for you. Yeah, but you said that McDonald's was closed and it's open, buddy. Okay, stand there and get hit by the train then. That's all I can tell you.